Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we'll be taking a look at the first wave of Prime Masters from Transformers Power of the Primes. I am so excited to finally have my hands on these guys. I did find them on the Hasbro Toy Shop. That's Hasbro's website for directly selling their products. They went in stock recently. They had been kind of in stock with quotes because it said like availability later in December. But then they changed to actually in stock, so I shipped right away as soon as I paid for them. So very excited to get these. Now these guys are all based on G1 Pretenders. So these little guys are the Prime Masters for the new kind of fiction that they've created, but all of their decoy armors or Pretender shells are from the original G1 line. So you have Micronus, the Prime Master, with the Pretender shell for Cloudburst, Liege Maximo with the Pretender shell for Skullgrin, and then Vector Prime with the Pretender shell for Metalhawk. Now, this is a really cool release because Metalhawk previously was a Japanese exclusive character. He was prominently shown in the Master Force series, which if you guys know me at all, if you watch my videos, I'm a huge fan of Transformers Master Force, one of my favorite pieces of Transformers fiction. So, really cool to finally get a representation of this guy. We did get Metalhawk kind of a robot mode in the box set for, what was that box set called? Not the Velocitron, that was the other one. I think it was just called Battle for Cybertron or something like that. I'm probably blanking on that and I apologize. I think it was Battle for Cybertron. But they redid the Trigger Happy mold as Metalhawk, and that's kind of what his robot mode looks like. But now we get a representation of his Pretender shell. So kind of have our bases covered, which is really, really neat. I like that a lot. The other thing I'm really happy about with this packaging, the packaging is back to being exclusive for the figure. With the Titan Master releases, it was the same picture of Fortress Maximus's head in the corner of every cardboard back. We're back to some really cool individual artwork, and I have to say, all of this artwork looks fantastic. Love Metalhawk especially, but these two are just as cool, so I'm really excited that the packaging is back to being specific to each release here. So you can see, of course, like I said, the beautiful artwork. You have the Pretender shell, the weapon, the actual Prime Master, the name down here, and then when you turn it around, you can see the back of the Prime Master. That is exposed. You can see my hand through the other side. So I think that's kind of a neat little touch. They cut a little corner, or cut a little hole in the back there so you could see the symbol, because the symbols kind of come into play. It has to do with what power they represent. And then it shows you how to put the Prime Master in the Pretender shell. The Pretender shell has like a gun mode, so they're kind of target masters at the same time, which is kind of neat. So I'm super psyched for these. I was really hoping Pretenders would come into it at some point, because with Combiner Wars we had Gestalts, with Titan Return we had Headmasters, and I was kind of hoping Target Masters or Power Masters or Pretenders would come into play for this third, arc of the fiction, and I kind of got both. These are kind of Power Masters and Pretenders all in one, so I'm super stoked. As you guys can probably tell, I've rambled on for, enough here. Let's go ahead and get these guys out of the packaging so we can take a closer look. Alright, so here are the three Prime Masters out of the packaging. I'll start with Skullgrin first, since he's the only Decepticon in the wave. Here is the Pretender shell, looking fantastic. I love this. The skull looks really good. Nice paint applications too, though. I really like the little Decepticon symbol. Got some white here on his belt. The only articulation you get is that the arms move all the way around. Pretty much the exact same articulation as the original G1 Pretender shells, so can't complain too much. Obviously, he's got this big thing on the back. For the weapon mode, you just kind of fold this over the head, and then this little peg here flips around 180 degrees, so that can be wielded as a weapon. Coming over here to Micronus. I'm sorry, this is Liege Maximo. Pretty good paint, I have to say. Really enjoy the job they did here. Now, I know the arms are just molded in the other color plastic, but the paint on the face, I think, is pretty nice. Pretty sharp, actually. And this little form here with the design and the color scheme is very reminiscent of the Skullgrin Pretender robot. So they did a really nice job with that. Transforming it into not the head, but the Prime Master. It does have a little symbol on there, which I have to say kind of looks like a face. Eyes, nose, weird toothy grin there. But it's one of the powers. So you can peg this in. You see the 2 pegs here on the bottom of the feet. And you see the 2 pegs right there. So if you want to peg in the Prime Master to the weapon, you just peg it in like that. And then it can be wielded as a weapon. Let's bring in Titan's Return RC, just because I have her handy. And then you can see this just pegs right in. And then she can wield him as a giant weapon. I'll move this up a little bit so her head's not cut off. So yeah, I mean, it's not the best weapon. These 2 actually have gun barrels, so they look a little bit more convincing. Skulgan kind of gets the short end of the stick with the weird claw weapon, but what are you going to do? I guess they felt maybe that was more Decepticon-ish, being a claw. Now, the other cool thing, let me go ahead and take this guy off. You can take the weapon off of the back. I swear you can. There we go. And you'll see that it has a little peg hole right there, or a little peg rather, and that can fit into the hand of the Pretender. So he can wield it as a weapon. I think that's really cool. That's a really nice little extra feature that I think gives these so much more playability. I'm going to flip this back around so you don't see it as much. Now, of course, the biggest draw of the Pretender shell is that you can actually open it and put the Prime Master inside. So let's do that. Just fits right in there. A little snug, but he fits right in there. And then you just close it up. And there you go. He is inside. And give him his little weapon back. So I think that's really fun. I think this is such a better idea than the kind of random construct that all the Titan Masters came with. And while those had like 2 vehicle modes and then a weapon mode, none of them were ever really that great. I would rather have these really fun little Pretender shells. I mean, yes, they have a weapon mode, and that's kind of just a bonus. But I would rather have these fun little Pretender shells. I'm really super jazzed about these. So I'm going to save the best for last. We'll move on next to Cloudburst. Another one that looks really fun. Again, same articulation. Nothing special there. He actually, because of his gun barrels, he can't go all the way around. If you put the gun barrel up, you could. But I guess you'd eventually hit this way. So, a little bit of a bummer. Really, I can't imagine too many times this guy's going to need to swing his arms all the way around. So, probably won't be that big of a problem. If you really need him to, you could just take this piece off. But yeah, again, nice paint apps. I think the blue, the kind of grayish color, all looks really nice. Again, he does have a weapon mode. You just kind of do the same thing you did with Skullgrin. Flip the peg around and then flip the barrel. But like I said, with the gun barrels, I feel like that's a lot more of a convincing weapon. So this just kind of looks like a Targetmaster in my opinion. I mean, if you take a look at like the Targetmaster for, this is the Targetmaster that came with Char/Cup from the Legends line for the Japanese Takara release. Very similar. I mean, you definitely have a similar feel with Targetmasters there, so I feel like this is a much more convincing weapon than Skullgrin. But what are you going to do? You can, of course, and I guess I should show off this little robot first. Again, the face is very nicely painted. If this is going to be the trend, I'm very much okay with it. They just give you the torso is one piece of plastic, and the legs are another piece of plastic, and then the kind of thighs and arms are molded in the other color, and then they just put all of the paint on the face. I'm okay with that. I think that works. And then when you transform him, you get another strange symbol that kind of looks like a mask or some kind of eyes or visor or something. This is Maximo. He pegs in the same way with the holes on the feet. So there you go. That is the full weapon mode. Not too shabby. I like it. And then transforming this back. And then opening this guy up and popping the Pretender in. And there we go. Close them up. Now the cool thing is, it's going to be very hard to see. But you can see it doesn't line up perfectly, but you can see, you know, obviously the visor there is open. So when you put the little guy in there, you can see his face. Again, it doesn't line up perfectly. It's a little too short, but you can see his face through the visor there. So I think that's a nice little touch. And then once again, you can take this weapon off and put it in his hand. And there you go. That is a giant cannon for this guy to be wielding, but there you have it. So again, really, really fun. I like these a lot. Now we're going to come up to my personal favorite, Metal Hawk. This thing is looking awesome. Arm spins around as per usual. Got the awesome fin here on the top. Love the paint. Yellow, red, silver. Just looking fantastic. Here is the barrel of the gun. Flip that up. Spin your peg around. Pretty basic gun mode, but it's a, you know, fairly simple barrel. And again, I think this works as a Targetmaster. Not terrible. Taking a look at Vector Prime. Again, nice silver on the face. And I love the gunmetal gray with the blue. It's a really nice color combination. And then you transform him and you have a little bit of light blue there on the power. I think that looks really nice as well. Really nice color combination for this guy. And I mean, blue is my favorite color, so that combined with the fact that it's Metal Hawk easily makes this guy my favorite. Unfortunately, the legs on mine are a little loose. Not a huge problem. Again, if you want to attach him in the gun mode, you can certainly do so. And there you go. And then, of course, you have to open up the shell and pop this guy inside. Now, this guy's head lines up a little bit better. That is a really nice lineup job. So, I love that a lot. Like I said, for so many reasons, this guy is easily my favorite out of the first wave. And we'll go ahead and give him his little gun. So yeah, really fantastic. If you're going to only get one, absolutely get this guy. But these are so cheap. They're only $5 a piece. Absolutely no reason not to try to hunt down the whole set. I think they're all really, really fun. I'm going to pop this back on his back. So I love these a lot. And because my love of Master Force demands it, here is the robot mode for Metal Hawk in his Pretender robot form. And then, of course, you have the tiny Metal Hawk Pretender shell. I'm going to go ahead and just for fun take off this. It's always a little tight. There we go. Pop Vector Prime out of here temporarily. Now, these things can be a little difficult to wiggle out of there sometimes. I usually like to try to grab onto the tabs here on the legs. I feel like that's a little bit easier way to pull them out. But anyway, so here is... Now you can see no paint on the face for this guy. But really beautiful paint job on the face. I feel like these have to have, you know, less ornate backs. Whereas these had to be a robot's face, and these are kind of just like a little design. So that's why they can probably pump a little bit more paint into the face of the little robot. But anyway, here is the Headmaster for Metal Hawk. I'm going to pop him in here. And there you go. You can have Metal Hawk as a Pretender. And then he can pop out, transform into a head, and assume his robot mode. I don't know why that the head connection here is really tight. There we go. So I love it. Absolutely fantastic. Definitely more representations of Metal Hawk than I ever thought I would get, because the original Japanese exclusive toy for Metal Hawk from the time period from G1 is crazy expensive. So I'm super happy to get these modern recreations, representations of a character I've always loved but never been able to get. I also wanted to show off the integration with like the Deluxe class figures. Now, you can see the Deluxe class figures all came with these, you know, hand joint pieces. that had different functionality. So you take this little plastic cover out, and then you take your Prime Master, if I can get him out of here now. Pop him out, close it up, and just put all that off to the side. So you would transform him into his Prime Master mode, and then you would just plug him in here, and he just kind of rests. I kind of wish they sat in a little bit deeper, but I assume the deeper they sat in there, the harder it would be to pull them out, so I can understand that. So he could wear it on his arm like this. Obviously, they have him connect on the chest as well. You can see the kind of indent here, and they have these tabs. So I believe you... Oh, no, this one actually has... This one has the hole you can plug it into. That's right. I think you can do it both ways, actually. But I'm just going to go ahead and use the tab, because it's easier. Oh, it's clicking. See, I have to say it's easier, and then it has to prove me wrong and make me look stupid. And now he's fallen out. So anyway, here you go. You plug this in, and then now he's got the thing on his chest. He's channeling the powers of Micronus. He's ready to destroy with all his newfound power. Ah, he's freaking out. So, whereas when I only had Titan Masters to show, it looked weird when he had like a head in there. It still looks a little weird, but it looks less weird. And this is how the gimmick is supposed to work. Now, I only have... Deluxe class guys to show you this. I don't have the Voyagers or the Leader class yet, but they have similar functionality. For the first wave of Voyagers, Grimlock and Starscream, they have the kind of longer feet pieces. These are like the hand pieces. And since the Deluxes combine with the Voyagers to make Gestalts, all the Deluxes come with hand pieces, all the Voyagers come with the feet pieces. So these things can plug into the feet pieces as well, which I'll show you when I do get those and are able to review them. But for now, this is how the gimmick is supposed to work for this line. These guys plug into these connectors to power these guys up. So I actually really love these a lot. I can't say enough nice things about them. I think the Pretender Shell gimmick is really fun, and it's kind of an exciting way to jazz up the, $5 price point figures. With the Titans Return, Titan Masters, you got that kind of little construct that had some, kind of lame, dinky vehicle modes. Some of them were okay, some of them were kind of terrible. The weapon modes were always usually kind of eh, but I think these are a lot more fun. I mean, I've wanted the Pretenders to be integrated into this new fiction in some way for a while now. When I was kind of brainstorming what could they possibly do for the third chapter here. We've already got Gestalts, we've already got Headmasters. Pretenders was high on my list. I really wanted Pretenders to be one of the things they did, and when these were announced, I was just through the roof. I was so excited, and I'm so happy to have these. I think they're great. Like I said, really nice paint detail. For $5 figures, you get the Pretender Shell, you get a weapon, you get the actual Prime Master inside. This can turn into a weapon for the Deluxe class figures. I just think it's really smart, and I think it really works, and I'm really excited to get more of these. I can't wait for Wave 2 already. Like I said, for personal reasons, Metal Hawk is my favorite, but I think all three of these are really fun. If I had to super nitpick something, the claw weapon for Skullgrin is not the best, but I understand they wanted to vary it up. They didn't want all three of them to just be guns, so I appreciate the variety, and I don't mind it. It's just not my favorite, but overall, I love the look of Skullgrin. The weapon's just not the best part, but I mean, that's like a nitpicky thing. I really don't mind it. If I had to find something to complain about, there's not much here. I think for what these cost, they're super fun, and I can't recommend them enough. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at the first wave of Prime Masters from Transformers Power of the Primes. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.